Welcome to this discussion on fill up the blanks. Fill up the blanks is a common type of question we find in verbal aptitude tests. This question comes mainly in three variations. They are sentence completion, passage completion, and choosing the appropriate filler. In this discussion, we shall look at each of these in greater detail. The purpose of fill up the blanks question is to assess the test taker's ability to use the right words and the ability to make logical choices. Here we need to know more than the dictionary definition of the words involved. We also need to know how the words fit together to make logical sense. If the words in the answer options are unfamiliar to us, we should be able to arrive at the answer with the help of the other words in the given sentence or other sentences in the given paragraph. The subject matter of a sentence or a paragraph will certainly help us to identify the answer word. This is because the choice of words depends on the subject matter. However, even if we are unfamiliar with the subject, we can analyze the sentence and choose the right word. It is not the subject matter, but vocabulary level, grammatical complexity, tone, and style that make these questions sometimes hard to answer. We should have a sound vocabulary. That means knowledge of primary as well as secondary meanings of words. By grammatical complexity, we mean the more complex a sentence is, the more difficult it is for us to unlock its meaning. Here, a good knowledge in grammar will come to our help. In order to fill up the blanks with the right options, special attention should also be given to the word order, sentence construction, tone, and style. In this regard, it would be good to remember that the best words in the best order make a perfect sentence, and sentences in the best order make a perfect paragraph. Now let us see some examples of the three types of fill in the blanks questions mentioned earlier. We shall look at sentence completion first. In a sentence completion question, each sentence will have one or two blanks, and below that sentence, 4 or 5 answer options will be given. We should choose the word or set of words for each blank that best fits the meaning of the sentence as a whole. Look at the example E1 given in the slide. This sentence evidently means that the scientists got the awards. They got it by their sheer hard work. It is absurd to say that the scientists discovered or picked up the awards. We discover something which is already existing but not known to the outside world. Awards cannot be discovered. In the same way, we cannot pick up awards either. Awards are abstract in nature. We can pick up some concrete things like a trophy, but not an award. So options B and E are incorrect. Option A, bestowed, means gave as an offering. The scientists did not bestow anything to anyone. We usually bestow an honor or a title to someone, not an award. So option A is also not appropriate here. Option D, conferred, means gave or granted a degree or title. Again, the scientists did not confer anything. Actually, they bagged the awards. When we bag something, we secure it with an effort. Hence, option C is the correct answer. In this example E2, there are two blanks. The sentence tells us about a cut in water supply. When do we want a cut in water supply? Definitely when there is not sufficient rainfall. The word scanty means not enough. If there is scanty rainfall, how can we lift a cut in water supply? Ridiculous. If there is heavy rainfall, there is no need to regulate, that is control or adjust, or have a cut in water supply. In the same way, if there is sufficient rainfall, we do not need to enforce or impose a cut in water supply. So options A, C, and D are not at all appropriate. Hence, the right answer is option B, inadequate and impose. If there is inadequate or insufficient rainfall, we have to impose a cut in water supply. While practicing fill up the blank questions, as and when you understand why and how a certain option becomes a correct choice, you should also try to know why the other answer choices are incorrect or inappropriate. This approach and understanding will help you tackle difficult questions from the set. Now let us turn to passage completion questions. In a passage completion question, or a closed passage, as it is sometimes referred to, a passage will be given with some blanks, and for each of those blanks, some alternatives will be given. The test taker is required to first read the passage, understand the subject matter, and then choose the most suitable words from the alternatives given. Read the passage completion set. Let us read the passage once again. According to checklists on the internet, based on Israeli experience, one way of spotting suicide bomber on public transport is to look out for passengers who seem sweaty or dash or who are mouthing silent prayers. But the dash in this concept is that almost everyone I saw on tubes or buses on Friday morning's rush hour was dashed with apprehensive perspiration, while several seemed to be muttering secretly with some deity. And yet, none of these people wanted to kill me. They were trying to stay alive. So the eventual effect of religious terror is to make the menacing and the dash indistinguishable. As the rush hour began, it was a soundtrack that struck you first. It is always a sign of bad times when the noise of sirens become as dash and unremarkable as owl hoot. In order to answer this type of question, you should know the main idea of the paragraph. Here, the main theme is about the appearance of a suicide bomber. Now see the first blank. The first sentence tells us about the appearance of the suicide bomber. He looks sweaty and he silently prays to God. Here the key words are mouthing silent prayers. Now let us look at the meaning of the options. Fatigued means extremely tired. Pensive means thoughtful. Apprehensive means worried or fearful. And the meaning of vexed is annoyed or irritated. We know from the passage that a suicide bomber looks praying. Now let us ask a question. When do we pray? We do not pray when we are fatigued, pensive, or vexed. We pray only when we are worried or frightened. Therefore, the right answer option is C, apprehensive. The second and third blanks are found in the second sentence. This sentence says something about a concept that is mentioned in the first sentence. What is that concept? The concept is that a suicide bomber looks sweaty, apprehensive, or who are mouthing silent prayers. According to the second sentence, the author saw everyone around looks like or behaves like a suicide bomber. Now let us see the options. Option A, incongruity means not in harmony or agreement. Definitely the concept is in agreement with the reality. So option A is not suitable. Option C, travesty means imitation. To say imitation in this concept is absurd. Option D, lacuna means gap. And there is no gap in this concept. So option C and D are also incorrect here. Option B, problem, is the right choice. As everyone behaved in the same way, the concept did not help the author to identify the real suicide bomber. It was a grave problem. Now, the third blank, the words with apprehensive perspiration that follow this blank give us a clue. Option A, glimmering means faintly or sending out a weak light. This word does not give any meaning to the sentence. Option C, bubbling means to become lively. Bubbling with apprehensive perspiration is a ridiculous usage. Option B, nervous means frightened. This word is also inappropriate because apprehensive means fearful or frightened. So to say, nervous with apprehensive perspiration is incorrect because of the repetition. Both nervous and apprehensive mean almost the same. Thus, we reach the right answer, option D, drenched. If we know the meaning of the word perspiration in the sentence, it will lead us to the answer. How? Well, when we perspire, we sweat, and when we sweat, we are wet. And the word drench means wet. Perspiration can definitely drench us. The fourth sentence tells us that the author finds it very difficult to distinguish the suicide bomber from the ordinary people. Now let us see the options. Option B, alarmed, means warned about a danger. Option C, diffident, means not confident. And option D, audacious, means bold. From the meaning of these words, we can make sure that none of them is suitable here. If we notice the word menacing in the sentence and if we know its meaning, it will point towards the right answer choice. Menacing means threatening. In this sentence, the author says that he could not distinguish the threatening and the threatened people. Hence, the answer is option A, threatened. Finally, the last blank in the last sentence. This sentence describes something about the nature of the noise of sirens. Let us see the options. Option A, plangent, means vibrating. A siren's noise has ups and downs, but surely it is not vibrating. Option B, stentorian, means loud and strong. This word is used to describe the voice of a human being, so it is not applicable for the noise of siren. Hence, option A and B are not right answers. The meaning of the word clamant in option C is demanding attention. Well, a siren's noise definitely demands attention. But look at the word that follows the blank. It is unremarkable. Something that demands attention must be remarkable, not unremarkable. So, clamant is not suitable here. Therefore, option D, common, is the most appropriate word that fits the blank. Usually, common things are unremarkable, whereas uncommon things are remarkable. Let us now look at the third type of fill up the blanks question. The type we call choosing the appropriate filler. This type has two variations. The first one is choosing the most appropriate phrase, that is, group of words, to complete a sentence. The second one is choosing the most appropriate sentence to complete a paragraph. Now refer the example E4. Here we are asked to select a suitable phrase from the options to fill up the blank. The sentence is in future tense. It indicates two future things: the train being late and the speaker of the sentence being late. One influences the other. Now let us see the options. Option A says that if the train is late, the speaker will not be late for dinner. This is absurd. Option B is unless the train will not be late. Unless means if not. Thus, there are two negatives or nots in that phrase which makes it positive. So, unless the train will not be late means if the train will be late. If the train will be late, how can the speaker not be late for dinner? So, options A and B are wrong. Options C and D make sense. But which is grammatically more correct? When we express two future conditions, the earlier condition should be in present tense and the later condition should be in future tense. Here, the earlier condition is the train being late. So the right answer is option D, unless the train is late. Now look at example E5. Here we are asked to select a suitable sentence. The beginning sentence of the question has a positive tone. It tells a quality of Mr. Ram. Sentence 1 is positive in nature, while sentences 2 and 3 have negative connotations. The answer option A is positive sentence 1 followed by the negative sentence 2. But the first word still in sentence 1 indicates a contrast with the sentence that precedes it. Here the preceding sentence is a question sentence. Mr. Ram is undoubtedly a competent professional. It is positive in tone. This positive sentence does not contradict with sentence 1. So, option A will not be fit for the blank. Because of the same reason, option B, which also begins with sentence 1, cannot be the correct choice. In option C, sentence 2 is followed by sentence 3. Here what follows sentence 3, he was not considered for the post of the chairman, is the sentence, so did the other professionals in the company. Those two don't gel well grammatically. Look at option D. It says either sentence 2 only or sentence 3 followed by sentence 1. Sentence 2 only, filling the blank, is quite okay as it gels well with the next sentence in the question and also does not have a problem with the sentence before the blank. Now consider sentence 3 followed by 1. Sentence 3 is negative in nature, and when we go through that sentence, we can see that it can precede sentence 1 aptly. Sentence 1 gels well with the next sentence in the question also. Hence, the right answer option is D. In this presentation, we looked at the three basic types of fill up the blank questions and discussed some examples each of the three types. The approach we took in each of them was specific to those examples. However, there are some generic approaches and techniques which will help us tackle a large number of fill up the blank questions in aptitude tests. We have looked into those in the discussion Fill up the blanks part 2. Now take a short break, refresh yourself and proceed to part 2 of Fill up the blanks. Thank you.